What's going on, everybody? D Style here. Just wanted to come on this morning. Good morning to everybody. Of course, this is February 25th. This is a Friday. Man, thank goodness it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Hey, I'm sure you guys have seen the news. I'm sure you guys have by now seen what's going on. And it's hard from this vantage point, from this side of the world, to get a full grasp of everything, especially in the age of propaganda and the age of and make no mistake about it, the West and the Russians are both playing the game of propaganda and stuff like that. But we're gonna set politics aside for a moment. Let's have a real conversation about war and like and how devastating it is. I'm seeing a bunch of people on Twitter specifically joke around and making memes about how Russia's beating up Ukraine and stuff like that. I saw this one where it's like this man beating up a woman. There's this dude like filming it, and like the woman's Ukraine, the man's Russia, and then like Twitter was the person filming it, right? Um, I don't know what's going on with people. I don't know. I just don't know. Like I get that there's a time for everything. There's a time to joke around. There's a time to be serious. There's a time to be a grown up. There's a time to act mature. There's a time to fuck around and have fun. Right? There's a time for things. And I think it's safe to say, well, we all have a different spectrum of how we gauge things and when we decide when we want to act a certain way. I think it's safe to say that when it comes to war and bombs being dropped, right? Maybe that's not the time to joke around. I would think the only thing that could explain this is just this age we live in, and people being just completely desensitized to what bombing really means, right? I've done countless videos where I talk about bombings and I talk about how the United States has been bombing multiple countries for years now, shadow wars for years now, and it's just normal now, right? We live in an age that when, and I don't want to troll off topic, I'm trying to make a point here that when you guys remember the whole situation with Syria, right? And people keep blaming, nothing was happening when Trump was in power. Nah, like Syria was at least the Syrian government was accused of gassing its own people. All right, let's not pretend like we don't remember that, right? Whether they did or didn't, I don't know. Um, However, there was conflicting reports, and there was no like concrete proof, and it made no logical sense, right? Like, why would you do that when you know, like, the greatest military force in the world is threatening to take you out of power if you do gas your own people, right? Although it was believed to be like other militants, but nonetheless, shout out to Christine, Puerto Rican Rum, No Paul. Sorry, it's not about. I'm going to get to the boxing portion of it in a little bit, guys, but I just want to say this. I'll never forget how when the Trump administration decided to drop bombs in Syria, right? When they dropped the mother of all bombs in Afghanistan, like I'll never forget how people were reacting on the internet, right? Um, MSNBC was one of the anchors, Brian Williams, I think that's his name, said I might have the name wrong actually, but it is what it is. Is that his name, Brian Williams? I don't remember, but anyway, they showed a rocket being launched from the ship. And it says, "Oh, look at that, America and all its majesty," or some shit like that. And, oh, that's such a beautiful sight to see. Something about the might of America, or some dumb shit, right? And there was people celebrating it on social media and this, that, and the third, right? Bombs are death, guys. They're destruction. Like on Twitter, I saw this post of like a Russian jet just flew by, like flew in the air. Like I don't even know if it was like a neighborhood or like somewhere in an industrial area. And this Russian jet drops a bomb, and you just hear it's the destructive calamity of it, followed by a scream of a child. And I got to tell you, that was disturbing. I was like, man. And I'm looking through the comments, you know, and of course there's people that feel the same thing, but there's other people that don't realize that this isn't a game. That this isn't like some like game on Xbox or or a PS5 or whatever the fuck they got out now. You know what I mean? I haven't played video games in years, but they just don't get that this isn't a game. They just don't understand that this is like some real shit. It's our lives. And maybe it's because we don't understand, because we live in a very privileged situation where we don't need to hide in bunkers. We're not worried about our neighboring country invading us, or we're not worried about those type of things. Like the shit we worry about is trivial, really. We worry about a bunch of trivial shit. We beef about trivial shit. We're not dropping bombs on each other. No, but we got stuff in the streets. Yeah, there are cities where crime is rampant and stuff like that, right? Of course, and there is collateral damage even in the streets. But you know what doesn't happen? Like even when you get shot, like it's not like your family is like overruled now, and their homes are taken away and stuff like that. We're talking about a whole different level. Like war is a whole another level to just random crime and you know and stuff like that. Like we need to understand that this is real, and this could cause a domino effect. Just last week, people were saying the talk of Russia invading or attacking was ridiculous. It was propaganda. That's just the Russian propaganda worked with a lot of people. Like you know what I mean? This snuck up on people that were being naive. That's who it snuck up on. Most saw it coming for years now. This shit takes years to plan. It's not like a spontaneous thing that the Russians are just going to do. This was planned. Best believe this was planned. So we need to understand here. Shout out to Man of Water, Justice, and Writing Yogi. How are you? SSC, how are you doing, brother? And you're 100% right, SSC. So is Writing Yogi. Good points. Can somebody explain to me? Can anybody justify what Putin is doing? Like, what is the like? I get, the politics of it, but the best possible, and this is stretching it, is that this is preemptive, right? Because Ukraine, wants to be part of the European Union. They want to join NATO, right? And the Russians see NATO as an act of aggression, right? So they're being preemptive in it. But in war, like there's no such thing as, well, I'm going to be preemptive, therefore it's justified. I didn't feel it was justified I don't feel justified when the U.S. does it. That is the best possible explanation anybody could give me. But if Ukraine is a sovereign nation, which it is, and if Ukraine wants to be part, it's their country. If they want to be part of the European Union, that's on them. If they want to be part of NATO, that's on them. The Russians' perception of it doesn't fucking matter. Oh, but they're the neighboring country, so what are the neighboring country? It doesn't justify what's happening here. Now, what I am seeing is a lot of the Russian people are out in force protesting the war. They don't want war. That's clear to see. And maybe this is just some like warning shot, a very aggressive one that Putin's putting out there. And maybe it won't be a full scale invasion. Maybe. But I wanted to talk about I wanted to talk about the Klitschko brothers. Vitaly Klitschko was the mayor of the capital city, which is being attacked right now. And he's still there. There's a lot of people saying, he's full of shit. He's all talk. And so is Vladimir. They're all talk. If the Russians attack, they'll be the first ones out. Well, they're still there. They're still hovering around. They're still around. It says Russia's got a piece of Georgia in 2008. Yes, they did. 2014 was Crimea. They control it since 2020 Belarus and still cry about NATO. There's no doubt that the Russians feel that this is their territory, their land. Russians still feel that everything that was part of the Soviet Union is theirs. Like, there's no doubt. Now, I want to get back to this. I saw Usyk there. Usyk's still in Ukraine. Klitschko brothers are still in Ukraine. While bombs are being dropped like death planes. That's some crazy shit. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Now, I saw some people shaming Lomachenko because he flew out to Greece. Look, we don't know the full situation. We don't know what's going on. Now, do I think? I mean, I don't know. That's his decision to make. So that's not here nor there to me. All right. Slight tendencies. How's it going, my brother? Thanks for so much for the membership. I appreciate it. Yeah, Usyk could have stayed in London, but he didn't. Usyk's in Ukraine right now, like wearing military gear and shit. Like, this dude's ready, bro. We got people out here that think he's scared of Fury. This dude ain't scared of bombs being dropped from the sky. Have you ever seen the rain on a sunny day? Creedence Clearwater Revival. It's a song of theirs. That song's not about actual rain on a sunny day. Okay? It's about bombs being dropped from the sky. A specific type of bomb, but nonetheless, it still applies. Have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Well, the Klitschkos have. Usyk has. They're still there. They ain't going nowhere. From the looks of it. Like I know it's going to sound crazy, but you might just see a picture of like Vladimir and Vitalik Klitschko like strapped up with like freaking like bullets wrapped over them, like a machine gun on them and stuff, which would be insane. Like I don't want it to get to that point. I don't want it to get to the point where there's a war like that, like on the ground and shooting at each other. I heard anyway. There's been some stuff like that going on, but not to a full, invasion scale. All right. Not to that point. Now look, the U.S. is going to put sanctions on Russia, and that might deter them. So it's kind of like they did what they did, and they might just go not invade, right? But if it doesn't deter them, and they decide, fuck it, we're just going to invade, right? If Putin just let's say Putin believes that this is his fucking destiny, right? That he's got no choice. Like for all we know, they've been planning this shit, and we're waiting and expecting sanctions. That's always possible, and they may just go straight to the jugular here. Okay, if that happens, now granted, there's pressure in their own country, there's protests and stuff, but how effective is that going to be? I don't know, right? I don't know, right? I just want to put that out there. I don't want it to get to a point where that happens, right? I don't want to wake up one morning and we get news that there was a bombing and we believe Vladimir and Vitaly were killed or some shit, right? Heavyweight champion of the world Usyk was gunned down. That wouldn't be fun at all. That's not news I want to wake up to. So I hope nothing happens. But the question is, what do we do? And a lot of people may not like my answer, but I don't know. Like, I just don't know. We should be sending troops over there. I don't know if other European nations should go. I don't know if that would make things better or worse. Like if U.S. troops showed up to Ukraine, I don't know if it will make things better or worse. I'm talking long term. I don't know what it would do. Because if we show up and we start because even during the Cold War, we weren't doing that. During the Cold War, like the U.S. and Russia were like they were playing a game of chess, like almost literally, and they were using other countries like Vietnam, like as a chessboard, Korea chessboard. You know what I mean? That's what they were doing, right? So I'm just saying. I'm sure oil has a lot to do with it. Yes, I'm sure resources is part of the reason why Russia wants the land, right? Of course. If Ukraine was just a plot of land with no resources and didn't really have anything of value to them outside of just like it's ours, outside of that, I mean, yeah, sure. I hear you, Christine. How you doing? Johnny say who is US to tell Russia how to conduct themselves? I don't think we're anybody to tell anybody how to conduct themselves because we are invaders ourselves. We invaded Iraq, right? With what I believe was just a blatant lie of weapons of mass destruction. I don't really believe they believed that they were there, but okay. At best, the intelligence wasn't really good. All right. At best. Is it natural gas from me? All right, good, cool, good. All right. Fair enough. Like I'm sure there's resources in Ukraine that they would like. Whatever that resource is, of course. Well, look, I don't know. Look, here's the situation. All right, Ukraine's a sovereign nation. If they want to join NATO, if they want to join the European Union, that's on them. Like, just because they're your neighboring country doesn't give you the right to start attacking them because you want to preemptively, right? Here's the deal, John D. Okay, like here's the deal. If Russia wasn't, let's say Mexico wanted to make trade with Russia, which wouldn't even make sense, right? Because at least Ukraine is in the vicinity of the European Union, right? They're not that far being neighbors to a lot of these countries. Okay. Mexico is in the other side of the Atlantic. Like, you get what I mean? To Russia. Like they're quite away, right? Or the Pacific, whatever. Is it the Pacific or the Atlantic? But I think it would be the Pacific, I guess. Like if you go down, yeah, because it's Atlantic, you got to go across Europe. But anyway, Pacific. So obviously, if Russian military started landing in Mexico, like two things, right? Like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna invade Mexico? Is that what the U.S. is gonna do? Like that's number one. But second, it wouldn't happen because outside of just doing regular trade, like every other country does, right? Like what's Mexico going to do? Join the Soviet Union? Like that? Like there's no like logistic or like geographical explanation as to why Mexico would start working with the Russians at all. Like there's no like real explanation to this, right? In my opinion, like there just isn't. So that I guess that's the main like issue I got with that, right? I think a closer example would be because like Russia is right up there next to Alaska, and then so it's pretty close to like all the ice that's in Canada, I guess, but like they're close to Canada. So I guess Canada would be the better example, right? So I guess in your example, you're saying, what if Canada was working with Russia to help them invade Alaska and take Alaska back or some shit like that, right? I think that would be the better example, just to help you out a little bit, right? But let's say they didn't invade Alaska. They were just working together and they were flying around the airspace. They were not in the airspace of Alaska. Like, what are we going to do? Are you proposing that we should invade at that point? Invade Canada? Is that what we should do? Just take over the entire Canadian country? Would that be like logical? Would that make sense? Is that will we be justified in dropping bombs in Canadian neighborhoods and in the middle of Toronto because Canada and for whatever reason has an alliance with Russia? Like, would that justify it? Is what I'm asking you. That I guess that's the $1 million question. To me, it's not justified. I believe that war should be in self-defense. I do believe we should have a military, and that military should be used to protect ourselves from danger, right? We shouldn't be acting like an empire that wants to like conquer other countries and stuff like that, or control other countries. That's just my opinion. What's going on, Remy? How's it going, brother? But Iceman says, do you think Russia has a right to demand Ukraine not to? I don't believe they have a right to do that. I don't. They're a sovereign nation. Just like and again, many might not agree with this, but if Canada, right, became really tight with Russia, whether it's trade, if Russia was selling. Let's say Russia had a presence in Canada because they were training like Canada and they were training them, for whatever reason, right? They had some bases there. I mean, do we keep an eye on that? Sure. But should we preemptively just start bombing Canada if that were to happen, right? First of all, like Canada wouldn't do that. That's number one. Like that's the other thing. I says, but what if Mexico joins Russian alliance? The U.S. would surely try to topple that Mexican regime. Would they? So you're telling me like we were just strolling with tanks and they start bombing Mexico City, and in this day and age, I just don't think that would happen. I just don't. And they wouldn't be ready for the sanctions and stuff like that. They just wouldn't. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we would invade. I don't fucking know. But it would be a very strange, surreal situation. Like, it really would. Like, Mexico already knows it wouldn't be to its benefit if they did that. Okay, Russia isn't like there. Russia is like way over there. Like, at least Ukraine has like neighboring European countries on land. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Russia is like on the other side, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Ryan Yoga says the best possible solution. All right, let me see here. Let me read this. The best possible solution for the world to isolate Putin and cut him off from financial prosperity. Putin just undid all the democratic posturing he fooled the world with. He's known now. I just think it sucks. It sucks for the Russian people. It sucks for people that live in Russia. When you put strong sanctions on a country, it hurts the people that live in that country. And it sucks that one man or one regime's decision is going to affect innocent people in that country. That's the main problem. I'll read a couple more comments, guys. You expect people boxing 4P Jack says, you expect people will let missiles sit closer to their border? Russia did this after 7 years of diplomatic talks. NATO is in the wrong here. The Russian invasion isn't right, but they have a reason. So you're saying they're doing a preemptive attack, right? That's what you're saying. And it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's here's a problem with war, and I think a lot of people spend too much time pointing fingers and like war sucks. Okay? War just fucking sucks. But if like, so you're telling me there's missiles next to the border. They're so threatened by these missiles that they decide to preemptively attack and not worried about those missiles being used. Or they're supposedly right. Are they right there in the border, like pointing right at Moscow or some shit? Like what? How exactly are they? Like what does that mean? Like missiles close at the border, like makes it sound like they're ready to launch missiles at Russia. And nobody believes that Ukraine was going to preemptively attack Russia or invade Russia or anything like that. All right? Nobody like really believes that. The European Union, NATO won't even join Ukraine now that they're being attacked. This idea that they would preemptively attack Russia makes no sense to me. Plus, isn't this evidence? Isn't the historic aggression that Russians have had on Ukraine, shouldn't they have a right to protect themselves? Why is it justified for Israel to have missiles and all this other shit, like an Iron Dome, and they could have all these things to protect themselves from rebels with handheld rockets? Okay? Like they're allowed to have all this, and they're allowed to bomb Gaza and all. Like they could do all this, right? And they get all the protection, all the weapons. But Ukraine isn't allowed to have a military. So they can have a military because Russia fears that what? That Ukraine's going to invade them? Ukraine's not going to invade Russia. And if they did, they would be in the wrong, just like Russia's in the wrong now. But Russia fearing a neighboring country getting stronger militarily is laughable to me because they are the aggressors here. I'm just saying. We got jets on standby, says JC. You know what? I have a friend that's in he's in the Air Force. I want to ask him. I want to know what they know. You know what I mean? Yes, there are missiles at the Polish and Romanian borders, which are facing Moscow. If they manage to make Ukraine join them, then the missiles get closer. They could reach Moscow in 5 minutes. Now, this is just a maybe, but do you really believe that these countries are all going to strike Russia one day? Like it's going to strike them down? If they have concerns about it, that I don't see how it's possible that they couldn't have some diplomacy here. All right. So I'm sure there's blame to be passed around. I'm not here to absolve NATO of anything. I'm not here to absolve the United States of anything. You just heard me at the very beginning of this video talk about all the fucked up shit we've done. Okay. But I'm not going to absolve Russia. I'm just not. And that's what I got to say about that. What's up? D-Style, I know quite a bit. I was in Poland last year. We were doing joint exercise. I'm going to leave it at that. JC. Hey. JC was out there in camouflage and shit. Were you fucking with the Russians, JC? What the hell? Like, you know what I mean? You know what? This might all be JC's fault. You know, now that I think about it. It's like, he probably cussed out some Russian soldiers over there and they're like, remembered that, you know? No, but in all seriousness, these guys are out there. Nobody wins in these situations. It's sad. The people that suffer the most are the ones that have nothing to do with anything. That's the problem with war. Most of the people that get killed are just like innocent people that got nothing to do with it. You know, it's not the people that make these decisions. It's not the people that put sanctions. Not the people that, you know, that decide to join forces or alliances with the wrong side or the other side. It's not. It's never the leaders. It's always, mostly always. I can't say never, but it's mostly always the innocent that suffer in these wars. And if Ukraine retaliates, if there's retaliation of any way, shape, or form, and Russia's attacked, guess who's going to suffer the most? Innocent Russian people that have nothing to do with the decision of their government. Like there's no winning, like in wars like this, or in any type of war, really. So I get what I'm getting a lot from people, kind of, and I don't want to say you guys are defending Russia, but you're explaining what I said earlier, that this is a preemptive move by Russia, an act of aggression, preemptively done, because they feel like they're the ones that are in danger. They don't make a move now of some sort. But I don't know if attacking Ukraine was the right idea, though. I'm just saying. All right. Ukraine used to be part of Russia before the Soviet Union collapsed. Ukraine claimed independence, but Putin wants them back, plus entrance back into the Black Sea for trade and resources. Yeah, I'm sure resources has a lot to do with it. Maybe he should trade with Ukraine, not invade them. You know what I mean? Oh, here we go. Well, JC's on standby. Are you gonna have like a ringside reporter patch, like so people know it's you? Well, best of luck there, brother. Worst case scenario was World War III. A World War III, man. Plus chances are slim to none, but at least best case scenario is Ukraine soldiers surrender today or tomorrow, and Russia installs proxy government that favors them. Damn. We will see, but what does that mean? Like, what does that mean for like Vitaly Klitschko? Like, what does that mean for the president of Ukraine? What could you just imagine like Vitaly being a prisoner of war at the hands of the Russians? That's crazy. I just hope it doesn't go that far. I just hope these are just some warning shots, and the Russians kind of go back, and everything stalls for a little bit at least. What's going on, Tony Boswell? The building. How's it going, brother? Let's see. Also, China flew 37 fighter jets into Taiwan yesterday. Taiwan scrambled their jets to warm off China. China has been trying to invade. President of China said it is now time for China and Taiwan to unify. Man. Natural gas, I got you. They could be under house arrest, right? Now, I know that Vladimir Klitschko has a daughter with that one girl. I forget her name. Um, she was that little girl from Remember the Titans from back in the 90s. But so I'm having a hard time remember her name, but I know they had a daughter, and the daughter lives in Ukraine. I think I'm assuming they probably flew the daughter back to LA with the mom. Because when they got divorced, he kept custody of her. So like I don't know how that's working out, but I think they should probably fly the daughter to Los Angeles, where the mom lives. I spent since if nukes weren't invented yet, there probably would have been World War III. There probably would have. You're not wrong about that. Hayden, is that her? Hayden, yeah. So hopefully it doesn't escalate. I was very, very surprised to hear that Russia was attacking Ukraine. Like I got out of work and I saw it and I was like, I thought somebody was trolling on Twitter, and then nah, like this shit's happening. You know, there she is. Yeah, that's her. All right. So it says, why can't I take it to a neutral area and bang it out? Thanks, Jets. Just take no innocent people. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of weapons of war, man. So yes, there's tanks. Yes, there's you know guns and fighter jets and all that, right? And in the seas, you got all the battleships and stuff. But fear is the greatest weapon in war. And when you could show someone that, man, I'll take your innocent civilians, like this power that comes with that, and that causes people to surrender faster, demand surrender faster, like you know what I mean. Um, when you instill fear in the people you're invading, so I mean that's what it is. But I mean, it would be ideal. I mean, Putin's such a badass, right? Like maybe you should duke it out with Vitaly in the ring or something. Let's see what you got. You know what I mean? But that's just not what's gonna happen. Warheads on foreheads. I got you, JC. Anyway, guys, I got to get going. Um, one more comment before I go because he took the time. So this war happened because the world markets were weakened due to COVID situation, and let's be honest, Biden doesn't give the aura of strong president. I just, I've heard that a lot, but I just don't think that's what it is at all. Like, I just don't. Like, I think this was the plan all along. Like Putin's good at a lot of things, and one of them is befriending people and making them feel like they're in some type of control of him. It's and that's how he made Trump feel. Like I think he played Trump. He made him feel like like, oh, I got him. He's my friend. Like you think Putin gives a fuck about that? I don't. That's just my opinion, but I ain't a fan of Biden though. You know. But with that said, guys, I got to get rolling though. Man, I wish I could have stayed a little longer, but it is what it is. Peace out to everybody. We'll learn more and more. We'll see what goes on with it. Peace out.